Good Wednesday morning, everybody. No, that's not Jim. That's Maureen Ennor, guest hosting today and filling in, and we do certainly appreciate that. So no Jim today, folks. We're going to continue with this show, and Maureen has been gracious enough to come on and help, and I do appreciate that. Uh, Briefly, before we get into the intro and all that, you do a show, by yourself. You also interview a lot of people. When do you like doing shows by yourself, just out there talking to like the people on a screen by yourself? It's weird, isn't it?
I don't like it. I do only interviews.
Yeah, I like interaction. It's it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. When you think about people who interview and do things like that. The Rush Limbaugh comes to mind on his radio show. Very rarely had a guest on. He was full blown all Rush Limbaugh, and that takes quite the person. There's nobody quite like that out there.
He had
There are others.
callers. Didn't he
What's
used
that?
didn't he used to take callers?
He took callers. So he
Yeah.
did take callers, and he would have that, I think, on Thursdays or some special time. But most of the time, it was Rush Limbaugh just being Rush Limbaugh, which was that's hard to do. That's very hard to do. So, I mean, people are doing it. Bongino's doing it, things like that, but even like Joe Rogan has guests 99.9% of the time. It's just a better interaction.
I do a 90-second hit piece every night. I do a video about
Yep.
something that's a hot topic. I haven't
Mhm.
had time. I'm a little bit behind, but I do that and I post it and it does well.
Yeah.
But that's about it. I don't like to just sit and talk to myself.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I don't like it either. But we're going to talk today about mainly the Supreme Court decisions this week. Monday, we briefly went over, because it happened live while we were on the air, the decision on the mail-in ballots. We can talk about that because I'm going to get your thoughts on that. And by the way, Maureen's the host of Red, White, and Blonde, the podcast. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Lifelong in media, really lifelong time in media and finance. So maybe that's a portion you can help me out with more than anything else. What the hell do I do with my finances these days?
I think the S&P is better to invest in than housing market. That's my
Do you really? Than the housing itself? Yeah, it's weird. I'd like to get your opinion on where you think the housing market's going, actually. And so we can do that. We can talk about that after the intro. But we're going to talk about the Supreme Court hearings and what's happened there. And then, of course, the birthright citizenship, which didn't shock me the direction it went. I honestly, after Monday's decision on mail-in ballots, I really didn't expect Roberts and Barrett to just all of a sudden jump on the birthright citizenship thing. And so whether it's the right call or the wrong call based on what they interpret the 14th Amendment to be, that's certainly up for debate. Good morning, Mike, out there. So we'll see. We'll see what that means. I have my opinions on it, and I'm sure you do. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then maybe a little trip down memory lane, compare 1976. Well, I guess you compare 1776 to 1976 to 2026. And would this be different if anybody other than a guy named Trump was president of the United States? I truly believe so. There's a lot going on out there, and I just don't feel the celebration like I did back in 1976. Of course, I was 10 then.
I'm wearing my
sparkly
4th of July shirt. So
I like it. I like it. I mean, we're days away from that birthday. So good morning, Brittany, by the way. As they come in, I just mentioned it. So we'll talk about that stuff and what your thought is on that, where we were then, which wasn't a great period in our lives. 1976, it certainly wasn't. We weren't that far removed from the Vietnam War. A lot of things were going on. 3 years before, Iran. And I mean, but there was a lot of what I thought was American spirit out there and patriotism. And from all across the board, I'm talking from media to commercials to people you see on the streets to, the Bicentennial quarters to which I talk about this day. I still have the one my dad gave me back then when I was 10 years
remember when Hal Linden used to do the Bicentennial Minute?
Yes.
And I think they were every week, and it was a new one every week.
Yeah.
As kids, we grew up watching that. And Hal Linden, Hollywood, he was on Barney Miller, I think then.
Yes, he was.
Now, do you think you could get somebody in Hollywood to do a Bicentennial Minute and talk about
Only the ones that have been already blackballed, like James Woods
Mhm.
or
Yeah, ones.
those people would do it. Kelsey Grammer, I think, would do it,
Yeah.
even though he's not fully blackballed from it, but I think he would be a guy that would do it. But
But
it'd be hard.
that was a big thing, and us kids watched, that's back when we
Mhm.
watched network TV, that was all we had,
Yep.
and we learned so much. In fact, I had thought about in January, I remembered that, and I thought, "Maybe I should do a Bicentennial Minute," and it of course,
Yeah.
time got away from me and I didn't do it, but that was a major part of the
It was.
Bicentennial.
It was. And normally, so now I would play the intro and that would take up a minute and a half and all that. I'm not even gonna do that today. Let's just get right into this because, um so folks, if you're joining, hi Mike, I see you, Aria, Leslie, Buckeye out there. Good to see you all. Thank you for being here. Let's go back to the Supreme Court decision, and I do want to revert back to Mondays because I haven't spoke to you since that actual decision happened. The mail-in ballots, to me, this just opens the gate for everybody to be California if they so choose to want to be California. You are very familiar with California politics.
Mhm.
It's a travesty how they count or how they. Well, I want to say this. It leads to my perception of fraud is
Mhm.
all. When it
Mhm.
takes that long and they're counting in ballots and certain candidates get none and certain candidates get them all. And I mean, come on. I mean, it's almost mathematically impossible, right?
Right.
So each state will be able to decide that how long they can take. Can you tell me, because I asked this question Monday, and Jim wasn't aware of the law and I wasn't. How long does California have to count? Is there a 30-day? Is it an infinite amount of time to count their
So,
ballots?
I know they just certified the election on June 30th,
Mhm.
which they said they were going to do it on July 7th, and they said July 2nd, and they said July 8th,
Yeah.
they went, and then they finally certified it. So honestly, I don't know what the law is, and I don't
Okay.
think they follow it anyways.
Correct.
But as you know, I talked about Michael Gates when I was on your show last week. Michael Gates
Mhm.
is the Republican candidate running for Attorney General of California. He was on my show on Friday. And I reached out to him and asked him his opinion on
Mhm.
the ruling.
Yep.
Michael Gates was the city attorney of Huntington Beach for 10 years, and he served with the U.S. Justice Department as a deputy prosecutor. So
Wow.
he's also
Highly qualified.
highly qualified, and he's also a licensed attorney with the Supreme Court. So he could
Mhm.
literally go in tomorrow and argue a case in front of the United States Supreme Court. So
Yeah. Mhm.
I have a lot of respect for him. So I asked him about it, and he said postmarked by election day.
Yes.
That is postmarked by election day, not handwritten postmark subject to backdating as California currently allows.
Wow.
We have
Okay.
more work to do in California to make election day election day. Oh, and vote for voter ID. Voter ID is on the ballot in California.
It
And
is.
it looks like it's probably going to pass.
Really? Okay.
So that gave me a lot of hope when
Yes.
he sent me that.
Mhm.
Because as we saw in the Spencer Pratt election and for LA mayor, votes came in days after, and they can write anything. They can write a smiley face. They can
Mhm.
write nothing's verified. They just come through.
Yes.
This decision is not going to allow
Okay.
that nationwide.
Yes.
And they are going to have to be verified, meaning they're still going to allow mail-ins,
Mhm.
but they're going to have to be verified with a signature, a witness. So there are going to be some steps in place,
Okay.
but I want everyone to know how important it is. We've got to get the SAVE Act passed.
Yes.
If Trump does nothing else in his president the next 2 years, he has got to
Mhm.
get that passed. And I wholeheartedly believe it's going to pass. He's going
Now,
to get that done.
do you think he's got 2 years? Because I think he's got 6 months.
No, I think he's going to get it done. And
Do
that's
you?
why he's holding up the housing, the fair
Mhm.
housing,
Yes, correct. The housing bill. Yes, correct.
fair housing bill. He's holding that as leverage. I have a very good person that I go to, is a political analyst, very smart, and he
Yeah.
told me that if the SAVE Act passes, it's really the end of the Democratic Party as we know it.
I truly do believe that, and that's why I think without nuking the filibuster, what are the chances that that's going to actually pass? You're never going to get 60 senators to agree.
Well, interesting too with Mitch McConnell in the
Hmm.
hospital. Are they going to put Massey in
Yeah, I know.
if he dies? And Massey's not a fan of Trump, but
Correct.
I really think like Susan Collins, who's the senator from Maine,
Hmm.
and she was against the SAVE Act.
Yes,
She has to save her seat because she's trying to fight the liberal vote to
she
stay.
is.
She's
She
trying
is
to
Graham Plattner there. I mean,
partner.
how she can't beat him.
Yeah, well, it came out today. She's way ahead. She's
Uh,
she's way
She
ahead.
always polls worse than what actually happened. So her polling way ahead is a sign that she's going to absolutely demolish this guy.
Yes. So I think if she wins that election, she's going to jump
Hmm.
on board for the sake. You have to understand these senators that are Republican. Not that I agree with them, but it's
Yeah.
politics.
Yes.
And when they're in a state like Maine, which is so liberal,
Hmm.
they have to play both
They
sides
do.
to get that election.
Hmm.
So let's have some hope in that.
Yeah.
But I honestly believe the SAVE Act is going to go through.
So
And
what was Massey's excuse then for playing both sides, and what was a Democrat governorship in Kentucky, but a highly red state? What was going on with him? What can you tell us about him, and also maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene in Georgia?
well,
And this is
again,
switching
I'm
topics, I know, but I just
no,
wanted your
but I'm going to go back to Epstein and the
okay,
Epstein files.
okay,
I don't know if you follow, and all of your listeners, I highly recommend John Kiriakou. He is a former CIA agent who was
okay,
arrested. He has an amazing story.
okay,
And now he has his own channel, and he's all over the place. He's interviewed. He's unbelievable, the things that he knows and talks about.
okay.
He said, and I've heard it from several other people, it has been widely speculated that Epstein was a Mossad agent.
Yes, widely speculated, and I believe
Widely
it.
speculated, and I believe it.
Yep.
It has also been said that Israel has the Epstein files in
I fully believe that as well.
entirety. They say
Mhm.
that Putin does too. They also
Yeah.
have come out and said that there are actual VHS tapes because
Mhm.
back in the day, this was before we had hardwire
Oh,
cameras
yeah,
that we have now. Epstein had VHS tapes.
correct.
Does Israel have those? Because Kiriakou and several other people that I've heard talk about it say those tapes would bring down our entire world. It would,
And I believe that. I do believe that. Do you think Trump knows that?
yes. And again, we talked about this a little bit last week about Israel. This
Mhm.
is, I believe, what they have over
Okay,
us.
okay.
That
And they have over us at this point?
Israel has these
Mm,
tapes. They've got
mm.
everything. In my opinion, I've listened to a lot of people talk about this.
Yes.
So does Massey, and also I want to say, and I've also heard this stated, that they don't really think that Trump is so much in these, but
Mhm.
it's a lot of people.
A lot of people. Yep.
His friends. It literally could bring down the government as we know it if these tapes, these VHS tapes, were
Is there
released.
anybody against that bringing down the government as we know it? Because I don't think the government as we know it is working for us.
Yeah, but we would have an implosion that in the
Mm.
like, it's not something,
Crazy to me that
it's
okay.
not something we want. But you know what? These things have happened for years. Look at what has toppled governments in the past. Okay.
Mhm.
It's been things that are more scandalous than
I
this.
agree.
So it's a very scary issue.
Mhm.
And from what I've been told, these tapes and this information is nothing like a midnight dump from the DOJ of redacted.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's
This
nothing
is
like that.
full
It
blown, especially
right,
VHS
right.
tapes are
It is.
involved.
Because supposedly Epstein taped everyone who was doing
Well,
whatever.
I believe that that's the leverage portion
Yeah,
of it. So,
exactly. So is Massey now maybe going to come to the middle and say, yeah, no, we don't want that.
mhm.
We're going to,
Yeah. I
you
don't
know,
know. He was rock solid at first, wasn't he? I mean, he was a rock solid, and what I mean by that, and I don't mean to say that he's not rock solid in some ways or not. It
Mhm.
seemed there that there seems to be this, at least perception from being outside that it's just last year or two that everything Trump did was he was against. He vote no, vote no,
Mhm.
vote no, vote no. And that could be a personal vendetta. It could be anything. I don't know what's going on behind closed doors there, right? Um,
Well, he
so it always, it
stood up against Israel. That's another
yes,
thing that is very concerning to me as an American. We
yeah,
have to be able to question our tax dollars going to a foreign country,
I agree
right?
with that, 100%. I
And
100% agree with
he
that.
was immediately called an anti-Semite, which is what happens if you ever question.
Yes.
And it's like when Trump ran for the 2016 election,
Mhm.
and he talked about China, and everybody called him a racist because
Yeah.
Chinese, not the Chinese people, it's the CCP. It's
Yeah.
not the Israeli people, it's the Israeli
It's
Israeli.
the government. It's like we can say that about America in a lot of ways, although we sure see a lot of whack job Americans. But you could say our government in general, and I'm not putting the blame on one guy or the other. I'm saying that as a whole is dog crap, is
Yeah.
dog crap, and I'm not saying that about the people. I'm saying
Yeah.
it about the government. All governments seem to be
Yeah.
corrupt, and none of them seem to be for the people. If you could name me a place that's like, well, the government really truly does work for the people, I don't know, Denmark, Sweden, I don't know where do they really, really work for the people? So you
I
got to
don't.
keep them in check,
Right.
this way.
Right. And so Massey was labeled an anti-Semite. Everybody ran
Correct.
with that. And that is one of the things that I think kind of brought him down.
I think so too.
His
I
stand
think
on
so too. They could
himself.
use that against them quite heavily and all
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
um, all right. Well, thank you for your opinion on that. And the Epstein files, we can certainly go into fuller depth on
Yeah.
another show if you'd like. I'd love to do that. Go
But that was just my
deeper dive.
opinion leading up to Massey and Epstein.
Mhm.
It's we got to get the SAVE Act passed.
We have to.
If
We have to.
anything, Trump knows how to negotiate, and I think I have confidence in him. He's going to get that done.
He's going to get it done. Do you think he's going to get it done without the removal of the filibuster? And do you agree that the filibuster should or should not be removed?
I don't think we should remove the filibuster. It's
It worries me for the future.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides of the fence. I've been so frustrated with Congress for not passing what has been at least polled and shown to the American public from even left wing news sources that it's a 80%, 75 to 80% popular bill, that
Yeah.
voter ID is just common sense and makes sense. Um, so that's what kind of gets me about why the Senate hasn't done what it needs to do
I
and
think
how
that's because of the midterms. Those Republican senators, like I said, that are in heavily, blue states,
Mhm.
I think they want to win that election by not voting for the SAVE Act, and then they're going to come around. That's my idea. That's my opinion.
So you think they don't? So if the SAVE Act isn't passed, how do you feel about the 2026 midterm elections and which direction it's going to
Well,
go?
I mean, let's just talk the primaries. Like, we'll stay with
Okay,
Super
primary.
Bowl.
Yep. Okay. All right.
They're gonna play both sides until they win the primary
Mhm.
against like Flatner, and then I think they're gonna come around. But
You
I
do.
absolutely believe, I've talked to a lot of people that I know on the Hill. I've talked to a lot of different people, and they've all said it's gonna get done.
Okay. All right. And that's what Thune's waiting for at this point and
Right.
knows.
And again, this is why the Democrats are fighting so hard, because it will end their party as they know it.
Yep. Okay. Um, we shall see. We have you've talked to a lot of people. I trust and believe what you're hearing and saying. I like the fact that there's hope for that because I'm wishy-washy on it all. One day I feel I have hope, next day I feel I have no hope. I think that's across the board for most Americans. At this
Yeah.
point, you think, okay, we're going in the right direction. Shoot, we're not going in the right direction. This Iran thing, okay, just end it. It's going to end. No, it's not going to end. I mean, there's a lot of just unstableness within our own thought process on a daily basis because of this, and it's discouraging a lot of times. So,
It is.
you gave me hope. Hey, look at that. See, it's working. My therapist, my new therapist, Maureen Ennor, is giving me hope.
I truly believe that this is going to get done.
Okay, good.
And voter ID is on the ballot in California, which is almost a miracle.
Yeah,
But
that is a miracle it's on there.
And
Yeah,
it's polling very favorably.
it really is. Okay.
So
Yeah, but then, okay, but then how long do we, after the vote, how long do we know before it's passed or not passed? That's the issue I'm having here. It really makes everybody a little bit, I don't know, skeptical or conspiracy theorist on elections when those things
well, what
happen.
happened in California in the LA mayor's race is very disheartening.
Yes.
I don't care what you say. I don't know what's going on. I think there's a lot of stuff working in the background. I couldn't get any of my guys to tell me like what they knew, which I don't blame them.
Yeah.
But I think the wheels are moving. Spencer Pratt's got some plans going. I think we're going to see some positive change out of California.
Yeah, correct. Good. I hope so. Was a red state at one point. We all remember Reagan. I mean,
Reagan
it was
that's where he was from.
That's right. So it's not too far removed, less than 50 years ago.
Governor of California.
Yep, correct. And so, I mean, it can happen, and we need California. We need every state. We need California. I just think some are a little bit more hopeless. I think Oregon is a tough get ever for us. The state of Washington. I think New York is going to be brutal. Although I was really hopeful that maybe that could turn red in the last election. But not. So too many people in Manhattan.
Portnoy coming out.
Oh, I can't. I'm not a fan of him. I don't know if you are. I'm just not a big fan.
I like him.
Do you?
Well,
okay. So 2 reasons. One, I'm an Ohio State guy. He's from Michigan, so I have a beef already with Courtney. I think he's well accomplished, and he's he's actually made a fortune out of what he did, which is that's not easy to do. So I do respect him for that. I'm just not a big fan of.
Do you know why I know he's going to run? Because he wrote a book. They all write.
Oh, really? They'll write a book first. Is that the key?
Yep. And then they go on the book tour, and I think his book just came out.
When's your book coming out?
Yeah, pretty soon. I am working on it, but I'm not going to be in the office. But JD Vance on a book tour.
Yeah.
That's the very first thing they do. They write a book.
You think Vance is the heir apparent to the MAGA movement, or
it's going to be Rubio Vance?
Rubio leading the ticket, Vance as the second fiddle again, as vice president. You think
he's already vice president now? I mean, I think it's going to be Rubio Vance.
Wow, I hope so. How do you feel about Rubio? I was always a little, being from Florida, always wondered a little bit about deep state Rubio. And those people, I could question a lot of people. I think he's been absolutely rock solid. And
I remember him running in the 2015 during Reagan, when the 756 candidates, and they had to have JV. Remember the JV debate?
I do. Oh God, gosh, yes, I do remember that. Yep,
I covered that debate and at the Reagan Library. Rubio was just kind of he was just a laughing stock. He was terrible. It was terrible. And to see him now, it's like, cool. What charm school did he go to? Where did they send him? What?
He's funny. He makes him laugh. He comes with facts. He doesn't need a teleprompter, doesn't need notes in front of him, just spits out the data. When you tell the truth, I guess maybe it's easy to spit out the data. You don't need notes, So I think of it that way too. But his speaking is just absolutely spectacular.
I remember I interviewed him, and I covered immigration during that campaign. My partner, my co-host Bob Lang, he covered finance because he was on CNBC at a finance show, and Rubio couldn't even get a sentence out.
Crazy.
Doing him, and remember the drinking the water and how Trump just ate him up. Well, Trump ate them all up. I mean, if you want the best humor ever, go back and watch clips from those debates where Trump
they were great.
Just took them all out. But I mean, he has come out as a champion. And he's Cuban. He speaks fluent Spanish. He's from Miami. He's got that. So he's able to understand I did not think he was ready for the world stage, and he has.
Oh, he has exceeded that. He has exceeded that.
Absolutely.
And those two roles that he is in only sets him up for a presidential run at
I
this
think
point.
that is a much better position to be
I do
set
too.
for
I
as
do too. Than a
secretary.
senator, than him in the Senate. And I think that to me, that was my issue with DeSantis in 2024 too. He just looked uncomfortable on stage. He had same issue to me as Rubio had back in 2016 and 15, was just
Talking about those Florida boys, huh? They don't.
no comfortability, no anything. And I'm just like, for one, I was like, who told him to run in this particular election was absolutely, I don't know who advised him on that. Love him as a governor. I love what he's done with the state, obviously.
Mhm.
Have some questions about Byron Donalds, but we'll see. I think he's going to be the next guy, and he's
What do
he's
you
no
think of that?
DeSantis.
What do you think of that Fishback guy?
I love Fishback.
I
I'd
do
vote for him, but he's not going to
too.
get. I love Fishback, but he's not going to get. I'm not going to get the opportunity, right, to vote for him as governor. And that's the problem. With
I
it.
would
And
love to interview him. I
yeah,
think he's fantastic.
we can get him on. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
we should.
We can
I
get
think
Fishback on.
he has the best idea. I mean, we got to watch him. He
Mhm.
reminds me of a conservative Mamdani
Oh, yeah.
because he's got ideas that the conservatives really believe in, but nobody wants to say it.
Nobody wants to say it. Correct. You're right. You're right. So just like the Democrat Socialists of America now, that's the same. You're right with that, which
Yeah.
we just had last night in Colorado. Another incumbent lose a primary to the DSA. And now, is
Look at
that
New
good
York.
news or bad news for the overall election? Are these
I think
people too radical, or
it's going to be very good news for the Republicans. Even longtime Democratic commentators are coming out saying they just gave a prize to the Republicans
yeah,
because again, middle America is not going to go for this. No,
Mhm.
this is not.
Yeah.
And Schumer and Jeffries are going to be gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just really this really is the gift that just keeps on giving.
Yep, I agree. Okay. Yeah, I do agree with that. A lot of indoctrinated liberal college kids certainly love the DSA at this point. The free stuff, the free
Yeah, like we
everything.
talked about last week. They
Yep.
don't understand any of it. They just
They don't
hear
understand.
rent
No,
freeze and they vote. They
they
don't.
don't understand it. The sad part is though that they do still vote, and that's
Oh yeah.
the problem. But
You know,
anyways, go on. I'm sorry. Go on.
George Soros.
Mhm.
I heard a very good. Somebody was talking about this the other day. It made a lot of sense. So a lot of these Soros type people,
Mhm.
they have $1 million. They throw it to a president, like to Kamala Harris. It's not going to do anything.
Yep.
But
Correct.
they go to the local elections,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where they'll throw $1 million into a DA's race.
Yep. Yep.
They'll throw $1 million into a city council, so that's what we're seeing.
Yep.
We're
Correct.
seeing this George Soros money, not
Mhm.
just him, several other George Soroses around.
Yep. Correct. Correct.
And they're trying to, they're starting with the local elections. They're starting
Mhm.
with the local, and then they work their way up. But they're not going to put money into presidential or senator races, or because that money's not, they can take $1 million to a city election and make a huge difference.
Yep. Yep. That's right. That's right. I just put some comments over here. Aria wrote this radical concept. If our elected officials did the job we elected them to do, they would haven't to worry about getting reelected. Well, that's the truth too. I think that's part of it, is that it's the political fine line between who you support, who you don't support, what you champion in your state, what you don't. Really has and people don't vote in these primaries. You don't get the turnout you get into it. And I guess that's part of my fear too, as well as in the midterms, is that Republicans tend to be lazy in midterms. I think this is probably one of the most important midterm, if not the most important midterm in my life.
Mhm.
And I felt I said that in 2018, too. This is way worse than that at this point to me. I think way more important, I think, at this point than that was.
Yeah.
Your thoughts? I mean, it is. They have to get out and vote, right? And I think they will. I think the message is getting out. I just think, as we talked about, Trump has to come back to the America First agenda.
which
He
he
has
has.
to go. Yeah,
He's you can see a little bit of a shift in that.
you can.
Um,
Uh-huh.
you know, every midterm is important. I think, especially when you're the incumbent, when you're
Mhm.
the side that's in office,
Mhm.
it's always important. Statistically,
Yeah.
they don't win, we don't win the
Mhm.
midterm. You know, that's even when the Democrats are in, the Republicans take over. This is a lot different because we've got
Yeah.
the DSA,
Uh-huh.
and
Okay.
people are not happy about that. I
Yep,
mean,
correct.
again, we're looking at middle America. You know,
True.
they don't want this. They're
True.
scared of it, as they should be. You
As
know,
they should be.
as they should be. I mean,
Mhm.
that Desavalle, whatever her name is in New
Yeah.
York, said
Yeah.
she couldn't find a napkin, so she wiped her hands with the American flag.
Yes. I mean, that's who they're now. Again, I go back to the SAVE Act must pass because I still don't believe that without that, I believe these are the candidates that are going to end up winning in the end. And I say that in quotes because I don't believe
Well,
it.
didn't they say it was only 7% of people voted in these
Yeah,
primaries?
I agree. I agree. And what's the typical turnout in a midterm, right?
Mhm.
You know, I mean, is it less than 25% typically? I'm not quite sure, but I think that's somewhere around the right figure.
Yeah.
That's got to be higher in order for us to keep the House and the Senate and to not have 2 straight years of impeachment of Trump and then Vance,
Yeah.
which
No,
I think is
I
exactly what would happen.
I don't see. I really see. You know, let's go back to the other Supreme Court ruling with
Yep.
birthright
Yeah,
citizenship.
let's do it now. Yeah, that's fine.
Don't mean to pivot, but it just popped into my
No
head.
pivot because we got to get to it
So
anyways.
let's look at it another way.
Mhm.
Yes, I don't agree with it. I don't think they interpreted the 14th Amendment properly
Correctly.
because it is supposed to be where your state, like, I don't know the verbiage exactly, but
Mhm.
basically where you live is where that
Mhm.
child is
Correct.
a citizen. So if you travel from China, China is your
Is
home.
your home, correct.
So I don't agree with it, but let's look at it this way.
Mhm.
We live in the greatest country in the world.
Agreed.
For all of
Still,
its faults, we live
still.
in the greatest country in the world. We wake up every day and our feet hit this ground with the soil underneath of the United States of America.
Yep,
People will risk everything they have to
and
come here
have. Mhm.
and have a life and give their children US citizenship. That should
Mhm.
tell us something as Americans.
Mhm.
This is the greatest place on earth.
Correct. Mhm.
Not that I agree with you, come in here illegally. I don't agree with these baby businesses
Nope.
and,
Nope.
all the things that happen. And again, that's why we need the Save America Act.
Mhm.
We
Yep.
need the Save America Act, get that passed, clean up our voter rolls, let Trump, again, take care of the immigration, let him do what he
Mhm.
needs to do. Temporary status just got approved.
Yep.
That's
That was
huge.
good. That was good news. Mhm.
But I would like to say to everyone, we we have the privilege of waking up in this country and our feet hit the ground on the soil of the United States of America.
Yes. Yep.
And fight for that.
Yep. Fight for that.
And fight for that, be grateful for it. We're coming up on July 4th, what they fought to get us to this place.
Correct.
We need to fight for it.
Mhm.
Vote for the say that, vote, call your senators, call
Yep.
whoever you need to do what you can, vote in the midterms. Let's make this country back to where we all feel better and we're safer. And it's an America that we want and that a lot of us might remember.
Correct.
But let's do it that way.
Mhm.
Some of these people did everything they could to come here to be Americans.
Mhm.
Maybe they didn't do it the right way. And I don't agree with, I don't agree with the
Correct.
way I don't,
Correct.
but we need to remember how lucky we are and how grateful we need to be.
And I think we're seeing that even with some of the FIFA World Cup stuff.
Oh my God.
We're seeing they're shocked that, boy, this is not the America we were told it was. And like I had mentioned before, they're not going to the best of America. I mean, they're LA, Seattle, Atlanta. I mean, they're not seeing, yeah,
Kansas City.
Kansas City, I mean, they're not seeing what I think is the best portions of America and the best people.
They
in
love
America.
Texas. Oh, they
Love Texas. They
Texas.
do love Texas, you know,
The
and
Scots were in Florida.
yep, correct. So I and you see it even people who actually come over here and become citizens take the 10 years and the money it takes, and it shouldn't be easy to become a citizen of the United States. Should not be easy. Should not be able to be born here and be the citizen and get a social security number and then come back 10, 15 years, 20 years later and then bring your politics you've just been raised with over in China over to America. That's what's happening. That's birthright citizenship. They're seeing it with the people who go through those struggles to become a citizen, how appreciative they are of our country and should be, as we all should be. And I think we forget that in the mix of all that and the media influence that everybody has. We forget all of that.
Yes.
And it just drives me crazy that we're still seeing these paid for protests and this George Soros money and the infiltration to destroy the republic. And it absolutely and the media's influence on helping that cause is just drives me nuts when you see it from everyday people. Every day we're all out about, we all do our own thing. I'm certainly not walking through the grocery store and being like, well, there's a liberal. Unless it's obvious, but I'm saying, unless they're protesting or something, which doesn't really happen here in this portion of the state. But I'm not judging people by their color or what their political stand. We just have interactions, excuse me, I held the door for somebody. I did what we're just good people. And it's the politics and the media that is just dividing this country. And I don't want to be united with those whack jobs. I don't want to be united with the people that will take the almighty dollar in order to bring socialism here and bring their, I want, partial birth abortions. I want to mutilate children. I can't be united with those people. That's not America to me, So it's, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just kind of rambling off the wall, but it makes me mad that just the people don't really appreciate what they really have. And you're right. We wake up every day. I get out of bed and the first thing I touch is American soil, right?
Yeah. That our parents and our grandparents and their parents, as I said on your show, my family moved to San Francisco in 1850.
Crazy.
They came to Boston from Ireland and Scotland, and then they went around the Horn because there was no Panama Canal.
Yeah.
And it was treacherous and people died and it was unbelievable. And they came to San Francisco and 5 generations of us, my children being 6th, came, so we have to remember that. And we have to remind ourselves that, not that I want to have compassion for the illegals, what the Biden administration did, none of that.
Yeah.
But these people, there are people out there that would give anything and did give anything to come here.
Correct.
And be able to be Americans. And
it's true. It's
so
very
let's
true.
be grateful that our country is like that, right? That we have such a great country. These people want to come here.
Yep, I agree. And we should realize that, and that's where our gratefulness should be, and we thank God every day for that in this country. And anyways, Maureen, we got a quick sponsor I got to play real quick. We got a new sponsor here on the show. It's called My Patriot Travel. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Oh, yes, it's on
are you?
On the
okay.
network.
Yep. So I'm going to play that, and we will be right back.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just 2 entities, Expedia and Booking Holding. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent. But the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based global travel membership platform, My Patriot Travel. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/2G1C and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/2G1C, making travel great again.
Now, I've had conversations with the owner of that company, Todd, and it's crazy when I think about it. And I just briefly want to talk about it. And thank you, Todd, for becoming a sponsor in My Patriot Travel. He's a representative for them. I did not know that Bookings and Expedia were the conglomerate. So when you go to Trivago or you go to hotels.com, they're all owned by the same company.
Mhm.
And there is an agreement where they can only lower prices so much because they're controlled by that agreement, where by Patriot Travel is not. Now you think, well, I can go to Bookings, I can go to hotel.com. It doesn't cost me a thing, and I can just go and book my room. But what you're missing is that even though this is $30 a month and it's so $360 a year, they're 35% to 40% under their rates. Honestly, Joe the Box at America First Warehouse, a lot of them, they use it. I'm signing up to use it because if you travel twice a year, it well pays for itself on hotels. Now it's not flights, but it's hotels and rental cars.
Uh-huh.
And everybody's got to stay somewhere. And it even works with Airbnbs and stuff too. So so you know that. But it's just incredible to think about that, to hold the control of it all. And this company beats them by 30, 40, 50%. At times. So it can save you a ton of money. Give it a try. That's all I ask. There's no $30 you can sign up. If you use it once, you can cancel it. There's no cancellation fee. There's no anything like that. And then you can join back again next time you travel. It's not you're not in a contract of any sort. So I just want people to know that as well. But give them a try. Honestly, it's crazy. If you're traveling, and everybody does at some point. If you save yourself over a week stay at a hotel, $1,000, well, you've just paid for that 3 years of membership for that. So give it a try. That's all I'm saying. Can I play something for you real quick? Cause I want to continue with the birthright citizenship stuff and just some of the stats and why this hearing, which did not the decision, which did not shock me, was completely the wrong decision. No doubt about it. I think we all kind of feel that way, but might have to bring you on stage. So hold on to that. Nope, you're there. So this is just a report from yesterday on Fox News.
In the numbers, in 2023, 320,000 babies, that's 9% of all U.S. births, were born to mothers who were here illegally.
So I'll pause it. 9% born here illegally. So baby factories brought over, get their.
What they've been doing this for years.
Many years. I've got.
In New York and California, they've had this for years.
I'm going to play you a 1993. Yeah, I'm going to play you something from 1993. Dianne Feinstein. You'll know who she is.
Yeah.
And her thoughts on that right after this. But I wanted to get some of these stats in here real quick.
Or on temporary visas. And that number grew during the Biden administration. The U.S. remains one of the few countries in the world that grants unrestricted birthright citizenship. Justice Alito, as you see on your screen, the number of countries that do not have unrestricted birthright citizenship, that scroll could take minutes, as it's virtually every other country in the world.
That's insane to me. That's absolutely insane. Oops, sorry, let me remove this. Let me play Dianne Feinstein from 1993. You're familiar with her, correct?
Very.
Have a system where people can come to this country, even if they're well-to-do, get on Medicaid and give birth to a baby and then go back? The answer is no. And we know that Medicaid laws are being used and abused to do just this in the state of California. I'd like to see that stopped. About 13% of the California prison population, costing close to $300 million a year, are illegal aliens. I've had judges in Los Angeles and Orange County tell me 1/2 of their criminal dockets are illegal aliens. Presently, a convicted illegal alien has the option of serving their sentence in California or being returned to their country of origin. I think that option ought to be removed.
It seems to me at some point, and when did it change, that there were some reasonable Democrats. Now, that was an extreme position back then for the.
But you know what?
Today she would be not even close to.
What changed is they realized that was their voter base.
Yes, of course, that's what
they lost the Black community, especially in this last election.
Mm-hmm.
This is their voting base. And I have been saying this for years in California, for years, even before Trump, that this is their voting base. People said I was crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. California became a sanctuary state in 2015, 2016. My husband was a deputy sheriff in Oakland, California. He dealt with cartels coming in every day from Tijuana. They would drive RVs across the Tijuana border up to Oakland. Oakland's a port city, and they would disperse everything out: kids, people, guns, drugs. This is their voting base, and we see it. And this is why the Democrats, there's not one Democrat supporting the SAFE Act. This is why.
Yeah, this is why, because they would be out of power. We know it. It's obvious. And I think it's obvious to most Americans out there. I surely still believe the country is conservative. The majority of people in this country are conservative. I mean, I think they proved it in 2024, and I think they proved it in 2020. That was a bullcrap election. I think they've proven it.
Really prove it.
SAFE Act, yes, would really prove it. And so... that was crazy.
What was that video? That was 1993.
That was 1993.
Was that when the crime bill passed? I want to say it was right around that time.
When Biden's crime bill, when didn't he bring the crime bill to the Senate?
Around that time, I want to say, because that's when my husband got hired at the department in Alameda. Like, he got hired in 94 because of the crime bill. So that's probably why they were saying these things too, to get the bill passed.
Yep, correct. Wow. That's crazy timing there. And then I've got one from a story.
She looked pretty good back then. I forgot.
She did. I forgot that she didn't, always look like that old hag that we saw at the end there, So
I used to take care of her husband's hedge fund. He had a hedge fund in San Francisco.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And I was on the hedge fund desk at Bear Stearns, and I took care of I cleared all the hedge funds. And I used to have to go over to that office all the time. It was very
interesting. Have you met her? Did you meet her at all?
I have met her before when she was mayor.
Okay. All that. So back locally stuff. Yep.
What
a radical right-wing extremist she is, apparently. You know?
Well, I think that had to do with the crime bill. 1993, getting that crime bill pushed, going after. They wanted that crime bill.
So that makes 100% sense at this point. The other point is that this used to be the Democrat platform. I mean, they used to be. I may not have ever agreed with most of things they did, but they weren't radical. I mean, they certainly weren't socialist, but they weren't radical back then. It
was a very strong liberal. They got.
Yes, liberal was different. That was a different term.
And they pushed it every year. It would just get a little bit more liberal, a little bit more, and they would get away with it.
Yes,
that's the video of her in the crime bill, and that they got through. That just shows you it was all about them. They didn't care about the crime bill. Didn't help people.
It did not help people. It was terrible.
So they will say and do whatever to get their agenda passed at whatever cost.
Mm-hmm.
And
hell, Biden made a career out of championing that crime bill, at that point, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
So wow. That's just craziness to me. Is that they could. Even back then, though, honestly, and you can even look at Bill Clinton, who I certainly was not a supporter of, and I didn't vote for. Mm-hmm. Didn't have many options to vote against them, because they certainly weren't good Republican candidates, if you ask me. But at the point, I still voted Republican. I just didn't believe in the platform and all that. Even some of his stances, and I know he had to work with a Republican Congress, but even some of his stances back then would be extreme right-wingism today, because they've gone so far left. You almost got to counterbalance that with extreme right wing extremism at this point, because if you don't play their game or play the game better than they are, then we're going to be left with DSA candidates all across the country.
Yeah.
How do you combat that other than letting them eat themselves, which they do a lot?
Well, Trump tweeted out the other day, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was after the New York primary, saying, okay, I'm watching you.
I've been ready for communism coming.
Yeah, I've been ready. You just wait.
Yep. So trust the plan?
I do.
Okay, good.
I do.
Good. I always say that too.
That
I trust
and
the
we
plan.
have to keep doing what we're doing, Dale. We have to keep doing what you and I are doing. We have to stay on our message. Have our listeners hear the things that they're not going to hear on mainstream media.
Correct.
Bring these issues out. Bring people on that can talk about it and do what we're doing. Because again, we are grateful to live in a country where we're allowed to do this.
I agree. I'm going to throw a couple comments up here, and sorry, I haven't been throwing them up here, but Danny says, regarding the SAVE loan, is the last time you can think of that over 80% of the country agreed on anything.
Yep.
It's true. I mean,
so I say to that 80% of the country, get out and contact your senator.
Correct. That's it.
And make sure.
It's the least you can do.
It's so easy. Go online, look them up, send them an email, call their office, do it every day.
Yep.
Do it. And just, that is the American way. That is what we have been granted in this country.
Yep.
So those 80%, flood your senator's offices.
Correct. There was a win yesterday in the Supreme Court, and that's the men and women's sports win in the Title IX. Hold up. What title known? Huge win, right? Of course, that's not getting the news, because the news is that birthright citizenship, that was a big L, they say for the Republicans. So of course the mainstream media is going to run with that more than anything. Your thoughts on that? Because is California even going to, I say California, but I use that as an example. Is California even going to uphold that ruling? Are they going to ignore their courts, as AOC always wants them to do when it doesn't go their way?
Yeah, it's going to be, it's interesting. It's a good question. Again, Michael Gates is running for Attorney General. He is running on the platform of protecting Title IX, no boys and girls sports. Of course.
Common sense.
Yeah, common sense. Again, California is they are at an absolute crisis level, statewide, citywide, everything. And I discussed with him too the concerns I have, and so many people that listen to my show are concerned with free and fair elections in California.
Yes.
How we're going to, have that happen. And he told me on Friday that the groundswell, he only started his campaign in January, and he has he got over 3 million votes in the primary, which is unheard of for an unknown.
It's crazy.
Yeah. They are seeing him, Steve Hilton, they're seeing this huge groundswell. So it again is going to take strong leadership in California to make sure that these laws are put in place.
Correct.
And
how do you feel about his chances?
I feel very good.
Do you? Okay.
I do feel very good. I'm worried though, because I felt really good about Spencer Pratt.
I did too.
But again, voting,
I at least felt good about Spencer Pratt coming in second in order to run. So I felt good about that. I didn't know that for sure that he would be able to overtake Bass in the primary, but I certainly felt very confident about it.
I feel a lot better after talking to him, having him on the show and going over all of this.
Okay.
And hearing what he had to say. I mean, crime is it's not just voter ID. I mean, the problems in that state that the Attorney General is going to have to tackle are enormous.
Yep.
And I do feel good.
Can Becerra win and then Gates also win? I mean, you can have, right? It could happen.
Yeah.
Seems weird.
It is in California, it's the legislator. You got to fight the legislator. That is a liberal, insane. So you got to fight against the legislator. But everybody in California that I know, everybody they're like, if it doesn't happen now, it's never going to happen. We got to this.
Got to do it now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Hilton's chances over Becerra?
I feel good.
Good.
He started following me the other day. And
then Did he?
Yeah. And then I'm going to get him on my show.
Nice.
But I would have voted for him or Bianco. I didn't care. I
know. Yep, correct.
And so did Michael Gates, and so did Herb Morgan. They were like, if
either one,
we'll get behind either one of them.
Bianco was great.
Yep. You know how the Republicans are? They got inner fighting.
I know. Yeah.
But I do feel good about Steve Hilton, and Michael Gates and I talked to you about the Nick Shirley law. That already passed the assembly, written by Rob Bon's wife, who. And he said that he absolutely will not enforce that law if it passes. It still has quite a few steps to go to.
Okay.
And he also said he doesn't think that Newsom will sign it because it's getting so much pushback, and it's really not constitutional. It's
correct.
Definite. But he said to me, if it does become law, he will not enforce it. Absolutely. He will not let any of his people enforce it. And I said, well, that sounds great. But in 10 years, when another liberal AG comes in and that law is still in the books, then what? And that's what he said. He goes, I don't really think it's going to go. I don't think Newsom's really going to sign it. It's going to have a lot of trouble.
Who do you think in the way too early prediction for candidates for the Democrats for president in 2028? Who do you think's leading the way?
You know what?
Who do you think they'll run?
I think we still haven't seen that person yet.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that.
Going to have all of a sudden somebody who's very moderate, especially in the winds of what we've seen with the DSA.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm feeling some guy's going to get plucked out of nowhere.
And that's
like Obama, right?
Like Obama. Correct.
He's going to get plucked out of middle America somewhere. Who's going to be incredibly moderate.
Yep. Incredibly moderate speaking. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be a wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, just like Spanberger in Virginia. Came out very moderate.
That's what I think. Did you see Newsom came out the other day saying that he wants a national billionaires tax?
No, I did not see that.
I guess that's part of his presidential.
Oh, great.
Yeah, he wants a national billionaire tax.
Nothing like saying I'm going to take my stuff overseas and leave all the employees. Do they really understand economics whatsoever at all in how it works? I
worked in it my whole life and I still don't understand all.
Correct. So there you go. So
they make it difficult for a reason.
It's just a nice talking point, a nice soundbite. Billionaire tax. It's the Bernie Sanders way, know, and that show me where that works ever.
Yeah.
Prove it to me.
I mean, it's that's my opinion. I think we're gonna all of a sudden somebody's gonna be dropped in and we're gonna be like, he sounds normal.
He does. And this is right, Turner. There's no such thing as a moderate Democrat. Agreed.
They can't run any of these Newsom. There's no way.
AOC, who says that she's leading the pack and is ready to, Rubio or Vance would destroy her.
Well, she didn't know that there were cowboys in Spain, remember?
I remember that. That's right. If she did not know that. You think she's going to go for Schumer's seat? Run Senate? AOC?
Probably.
I do. He's going to be primaried for sure, I think.
It's about time. I've never liked him.
Oh.
Never liked him.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's about time for Senator Cortez, but it's, that Lord knows we don't want that. But Schumer, all of them. Mitch McConnell, who is.
Jeffries. There's another news story that I wanted to mention that got totally overlooked.
Please.
But Trump last week went to the oil companies. And he said, you better knock this off.
You lower your prices.
Oil is $71 about. For everybody out there, I was a trader, not a commodities trader, but we're telling you, oil always needs to be around 70 a barrel.
That's like, kind of the profit. That's like where
everybody's happy. Above, it's a problem. If it goes below, it's so they like to keep it at about 70. He went to those oil companies and he kicked their butt and said, get this done. You are taking advantage. And he did. And gas today in Texas for me is $2.99 a gallon.
Wow, it's under $3 here where I'm at. So yeah.
Yeah, $2.99. I mean, and we were up in the 450s.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and that got no media attention.
No, of course not.
Nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
And last week when I was on with you guys and we talked about he's got to reel it in America first, boy.
That's part of it. That's part of it. Yeah.
He did that. And he told those oil companies, you're going to be sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I will make your life.
And I hope so.
All those oil companies
and
those oil executives, they're not Democrats, they're Republicans.
They are.
Know what party.
Well, they do. You're right.
To the industry.
Yep. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. Very, very overlooked story. You're right. That happened yesterday, 2 days ago, I think, maybe even.
Yeah. Was it this week or late last week? I don't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah, but I remember seeing it and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what's going to happen. Well, you're right. It's part of the America First. It's part of that's who we elected. That's who I voted for 3 times. Was that kind of toughness.
Right. And I was watching a little bit of Warsh's press conference this morning. He's the Fed chair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wasn't originally thrilled with that pick, but I was happy to get anyone but who we had.
Yep.
And
lower range. Go on. Yep.
He was talking about inflation. Mm-hmm. Their goal is to have it at 2%, which they will get there. It's not once the oil price, the gap. People don't understand how important energy prices are to bring down inflation.
Sorry,
travel, goods and services, trucking goods. Everything.
Yep.
And he was, he's really. I didn't get to hear the whole thing. He was kind of starting to talk about the interest rates, and Trump's not going to allow these 7% interest rates.
Yeah, I mean, when is that going to change?
Down. Well, it never was going to come down with.
Yeah. Oh no, it never was. What the hell is his name? I forgot his name too already. Somebody tell us out there in the chat what his name was. I can't remember.
No, it's like I talk about him all the time, but he was horrible. He was appointed by Trump in Trump's first term, and then worked under Biden, and Trump got rid of But that's
Jerome Powell. That's it. Thank you. That's it. Yep.
So if we can get those interest rates down,
then
I don't know how much he could do by the midterms. He could do something. Yeah. They could definitely do something.
Yeah.
They can't have a significant drop. They can't drop like 4 points because the market can't handle that. It would create.
Oh, that's right. The influx of it. Yep.
There would be so much, like housing would go up, the demand, it would just, they have to do it very slowly. They do.
Correct.
But they've got to get those because the housing market is struggling.
It is struggling. It is struggling. And it's harder for people to buy a home with those rates. I mean, you look at what you're going to pay just in general, your mortgage, but then you've got your insurance, which is incredible. Your property tax.
Texas is limited. They're starting to talk about.
Okay. So Florida's going to now how they make up that revenue. And I know we have a surplus and there's all sorts of things that I just don't know about in the whole financial end of the state, but how they make up for property tax. I don't know. We don't have a state tax. So,
your property taxes go to education. Everybody, that's the majority.
Yeah, I know. Yep, majority of it. Mm-hmm.
Do you know the average superintendent in the United States makes $700,000 a year, more than the president of the United States?
Almost twice as much as the president.
The one in California and LA that just got indicted, and FBI raided his house, and he resigned. He was making over $400,000 and had a private chauffeur drive him to work every day. And LA County schools are a disaster.
A superintendent.
Mm-hmm. There are superintendents in this country that are making $700,000 a year.
Which is voted on by the school board. Like you don't even have to be an educator.
Yeah, there are your property taxes. There are a majority of your property taxes paying superintendents more than the president.
Holy smokes. Wow, that is insane. I did not know that. This is Mike from IRC Media. He said this has been a huge issue in covering in IRC Media. He's To the Point podcast is his podcast, and great podcast, by the way. But yeah, they cover a lot of the local. They're in Indian River, Florida, so Flagler County area, Jacksonville, that St. Augustine, that area there. That's where he covers a lot of local stuff there as well. And they focus a lot on school issues in general, but that particular superintendent issue and how anybody can be a superintendent. Anybody. Doesn't matter. You don't have to have an education background. You don't have to give a damn about kids.
My kids went to Catholic, and their slogan in Catholic schools, we do it better and cheaper. Well, they don't have they don't have the administrators. They don't. So one of the very best Catholic high schools in where I came from, De La Salle, their famous football.
Oh yeah.
At the time, the tuition was $10,000 a year, and California was spending $26,000 a year on public schools.
Wow.
So this has got, this is another thing, is another problem, but most superintendents in this country are making more than the president.
Yeah.
And
he says, no, he's way south of that. That's where I thought you lived, Mike. Sorry. Go on. Yeah. Tell me where you live then, Mike, because I thought you lived like in that area. What's way south of there? Would it be like Daytona Beach area? What's between Jacksonville and Daytona? I think that's where Mike lives. I see him. Yeah. What's in between there? Ormond Beach, whereas maybe we might be moving at some point. So that's in between there. Anyways, I want to real quick, as we're coming close to the end here, and we have no time constraint, but I try to keep it kind of within people's, wanting to listen range. I do want to play this old commercial, this old Coke commercial from 1976. And just, for you kids out there, you may not remember this or seen it, but I know we do. And this just tells me that this felt right at the time. And this to me, just is a good example of how the country was reacting to the bicentennial. Very huge celebration, as this one is as well. But here, let me put that up here real quick. Listen to that.
Here it is, folks, the Memorial Day celebration in 1976. 1976. This is what America was like. We sure have progressed, haven't we? Sure looks a bit different.
Sorry, it was a hard video to find.
Everybody gets this was better, right? It was better back then. Like, everybody can see that. It's not exactly complicated. How did we get away from this? Where did it go? Was it capitalism? Did capitalism do it? Because this is a commercial for the largest corporation in the world, Coca-Cola. I don't think it was capitalism that did this to us.
Could you make this commercial today? I'll remove it now, but I did. Sorry about the guy speaking in the background, but he's kind of explaining like where have we come from, kind of the things we want to talk about a little bit here to end the show.
In the 70s, the middle class was the strongest it ever was.
Mm-hmm.
Much stronger than what it is today.
Correct.
Much stronger. I was thinking a lot about this as we're going to talk about this. In 1976, I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
In that summer, I vividly remember it.
Yeah.
And in 1976, 50 years prior was 1926. My grandparents were like just born. So in 1976, my great grandparents were alive. My grandparents, my parents are still alive.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that generation that went through the Depression. My grandfather served in World War II. We had the greatest generation. We had the Depression generation.
Correct.
And those are who guided us.
Yes.
During that summer.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. We don't have that generation anymore.
We don't, do we?
My father is a diehard conservative, never supported Jimmy Carter. I can promise you that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he flew the flag.
Yep.
And he taught us about the flag. He flew it on Flag Day, on Labor Day, on Memorial Day, on Veterans Day, 4th of July, brought it out, hung it, told us it had to come down before sunset, showed us how it was folded. And we learned that from someone who did not support our president, but supported the country.
Correct. You're right.
We were only 1 year out of Vietnam. 1975, Saigon fell.
That's right. 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year. It was a disaster. Remember the news footage of the helicopters with the people from South Korea South Vietnam, trying to get saved from the North Vietnamese were coming in, the communists.
Yep.
And our helicopters were being shoved in the ocean. We were fleeing out of Vietnam. I mean, that was not a high point.
It was not.
The country.
Yep.
But we came together during the summer of 1976 and we all celebrated. And it was very simple. We didn't have our parents going to buy us every kind of red, white, and blue glitter.
You're right.
We had in the house. We had a flag. We decorated our bikes with whatever we had.
Correct.
We had neighborhood barbecues. We were all excited about the bicentennial. I remember being in the 6th grade and my teacher had us all memorize the Declaration of Independence.
Yep.
And she used to say to us, my dream is for one day for any of you to go to Independence Hall or to go to Washington, D.C. and be able to recite that.
Yep.
And we were so excited about learning. I still recite the Declaration of Independence, and I still remember her saying that to us.
Yeah.
Today we have the National State Fair in DC. Some of the 13 original colonies states refused to attend.
Refused to go.
Pennsylvania being one of them.
Budget reasons.
Where Philadelphia is where Independence Hall is, where the Declaration of Independence was signed and the Liberty Bell is.
Yep.
Other thing I remembered is 1976. The #1 movie was Rocky.
Rocky. Yep. Rocky. Flag shorts, the whole, you're right.
Philadelphia, right?
In Philadelphia. Yep.
And I just got the chill. I
went to the movie theater to watch that with my parents.
I remember going to the theater to see that, and it was the first time ever in my life that I had seen people stand up and cheer and clap at the end of the movie.
Exactly.
And
exactly. And he didn't win. First movie. He didn't win, but he fought. And it was all about the American spirit and the fight that Americans have. And for both fighters. I mean, it was very well done. And I remember that too. I remember it was the greatest movie I'd ever seen in my life.
Me too. I still remember everybody standing up at the end of the movie and cheering and clapping.
Yep. Where would that be today? It's not. It's not. First of all, it's Hollywood, and everybody knows what Hollywood has done to himself. They've imploded themselves with the anti-America rhetoric that they
would never make that movie today.
They would never make that movie today. I don't think Coke could make that commercial. Budweiser can make a short version of it, show an eagle, maybe put a little funny line in there. You know, I mean, that's as far as it really goes at this point. And it makes me wonder. I don't think it matters who would have been president, because I think if the Democrats, say Kamala won, God forbid, say she won, I think we'd have this whole thing would have been, they'd have ran Pride Month right into July and right over July 4th.
Like they did with Easter at the White House.
Like they did with Easter, and they do with Christmas, like they did in Christmas when Biden was in there. And that's exactly what we would have seen if that would have happened. And now because Trump, and I know it's Trump, but at this point, I don't think it matters who the Republican is. I think it will always be this way for the left. If you have an R behind your name and you're running.
There were some people who protested in 1976.
There were, of course there were. Yeah.
But nothing like what we see today. But you know what else, Dale? We didn't have the internet. We had 3 channels.
You're right. We didn't have the social media.
TV on all day long. TV was on a little bit in the morning, and then
that was it. You're outside playing, you're doing whatever.
We're outside. We learned about things in school that were taught to us about American history.
Correct.
We didn't have this indoctrination and inundation, the internet. And sometimes I don't think we realize how much the internet has affected our
absolutely destroyed us, I believe. 100%.
Destroyed human relationships.
Yep, it has. It has. It's become nobody's social anymore. In a setting, you see it with comments, you see it with everything else. It's just, I don't know what it's going to take to get back to those days of just being proud to be an American for most Americans. I know we are, and I know my audience is, and I know these are we're preaching to the choir when we're talking like this, but we have to keep talking about it. I just don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what's going to be. It's going to be the final straw. I thought 9/11 might have been. There's a whole series of stuff about 9/11 we can talk about. That's not my point. But
did you know that in Texas they're going to have the Bible taught in schools?
I didn't, and I don't know. I don't know what that does.
It's going to go through. It's been so. I'm not going to get into all the specifics of it, but that solidifies Texas staying Texas.
I agree. Does it not open the door for the Quran being read in schools?
In maybe 30, we could talk about New Jersey has the highest Muslim population. Yep. Okay, we could talk about that, and we do have to take the good and worry about the bad.
I agree with that. We do.
But the fact that Texas is going to teach Bible in public schools.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going to, Tallarico doesn't have a shot. He's Paxton's.
Oh God. I would hope Tallarico didn't have a shot before that, but
I mean, on the tails of what you were just saying, then we have a case like this in Texas where overwhelmingly people want their children to learn about patriotism in school. So there's a little bit of hope, right? That we get back to not so much crazy.
I agree with that. And Tarna says here, you know, when patriotism was normal, or I mean, I still think
you weren't called racist.
You weren't called racist. You weren't a Nazi because you believed in the country that's given you everything. And then this, of course, Maureen is an excellent guest. Give the booking agent a bonus.
I like that person.
I bet you do. That's Mike. You know, that's him. I agree as well. She is excellent. She's a co-host, not a guest today. So get it right.
You know, Sunny Hostin on The View.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So she always says that the American flag is racist.
Of course.
I don't want to celebrate the 4th of July because it's celebrating slavery. She had her ancestry done. And she always said she was Puerto Rican. She's not. She's from Spain, and her family were slaveholders in Spain.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Yeah. And
she says that we're, you know, the 4th of July is racist.
And she will continue saying it because that's where her livelihood comes from, is by spewing that garbage. You know, the almighty dollar is making that her point of view. Just like I think it switched people like Jimmy Kimmel and all that. He saw where the dollar signs were. He saw who was paying that. That guy's losing millions upon millions upon millions of dollars for ABC, but he saw somebody's paying him.
I worked when he was normal. I've been on, I covered Van Halen when they were on his show. I worked with him, stood with him. He was a great guy.
Yeah.
That was like in 2015.
Yeah, in 2015. And then all of a sudden,
he got
bought and paid for, right? Is that what it is? I feel. Anyways, Maureen, thank you for coming on again. Please tell people when they can listen or find you, not listen, but just watch your shorts, watch what your interviews. Red, White, and Blonde is the podcast.
Red, White, and Blonde is my podcast. I'm on all of the socials under Maureen Ennor and Red, White, and Blonde.
And Red, White, and Blonde. Yep, on both. So I got to get your actually direct number, and because I don't have that, because we've been chatting through like TikTok Messenger inbox, and I'm like, this sucks, you know. So thank you for coming on and joining us today and filling in for Jim. I do appreciate that very, very much. It was.
Can I just wish everyone a happy 4th of July and God bless the United States, and let's just think about how lucky we are to live in this country.
I agree with that. A couple show notes before we do finish. No show next week on Monday and on Wednesday. I will have a pre-recorded show on Tuesday on the America First Warehouse, so go ahead and watch that. I am away next week. I will be back on the 13th, July 13th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So join us and like, follow, share, do all the things you do. And yes, please, God bless you all. God bless America. Please have a safe 4th. I always say head on a swivel because crazy's out there. Just be safe, celebrate the country that God gave you the absolute honor to be born in, you know, and we should not, and that should not be something we regret. That should be something we are proud of.
Yes.
You know, I'm sorry to other countries that didn't follow suit. Right. But we are here and this is our land and we will do whatever we can to keep it and keep it the way the forefathers intended it to be. So, yeah, God bless you, Maureen, as well. And thank you for the fight that you do. And of course, we'll be in touch here and we'll get together soon again. I know it. So
have a wonderful vacation.
Thank you. You stay here. I'm going to play the outro and I'm actually going to play Natasha Owens. If you don't know who that is, she's a patriotic, Christian conservative artist, country contemporary artist, and also patriotic artist. And she does a rendition of the Star Spangled Banner that just is absolutely. So stay tuned for that to end the show. And then you can just hang on here real quick. And then I'll come back and we'll talk off here real quick, if you don't mind, if you got a minute.
Absolutely.
So folks, thank you for joining. Thank you for commenting out there, like, follow, share, and we will see you all after the holiday. Talk to you later. Bye.
don't